Oh, another week, another podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah, that seems to be how the way things are going these days. And we have a few interesting topics for you guys. Some in particular have been sent directly by the fans of the show. And we will start with the first one because we deemed it the most, the most interesting to a specific group of fans that we have. And we'd like to thank Desmond Leroy and Kang Tao.
Hope we're getting your name right.
Yeah, sorry.
Forgive us.
Kang Tao for sending us information upon the controversial Tales of Zestiria information. Now, yeah, like those guys primarily sent it to us, but yeah, a few other fans have let us know about the situation.
Well, since we're the Tales guys.
Yeah, we've kind of been deemed the Tales guys. Like people come to us for Tales knowledge. Like, oh my god, what do you guys think? And like it's kind of cool that happens actually.
By the way, quick plug: Tales of Destiny coming soon.
Yeah, the Tales of Retrospective.
Part 2 of Retrospective.
Yeah, Tales of Retrospective, Tales of Destiny is on its way, so be excited for that. We're trying to do what we can to move through the Retrospective as fast as we can. Being that information is so clear, we haven't exactly been up to speed with any current events that are going on Tales-wise, which is why thank you guys for sending us this information.
So, what's going on with Zestiria?
Oh, apparently it's not that good. A lot of negative feedback going on over in Japan about... what's been going on behind the scenes now. For those who don't want to be spoiled about the plot of Tales of Zestiria, or at least about certain characters, the plot isn't really that huge, but yeah, just throwing it out there, spoilers. Now, the controversy is in regards to a couple of characters and of course DLC. Now, DLC has always been a finicky subject, especially in America, where DLC is, to me, DLC is the best and worst thing that ever happened to video games. It's the best thing as it allows creators to be more creative with their games. Like if they complete a game and they're like, oh, maybe we could add this, or maybe we can do this and add more levels to it. That's cool. That's creative. Because
but you know that there are going to be companies out there who are going to abuse it.
Oh yeah, and no company more prominent than Capcom, who
started. Because I know what you're about to say, and it was a good theory. Like, okay, this is our way to add on to the adventure.
Yeah,
give you some extra stuff.
Yeah,
but as we know, these game companies, they'll find ways to exploit it. How?
Oh, simple, by cutting corners and selling it back to you later for even more. And of course, Capcom was definitely the dominant species when it came to abusing the hell out of this.
They wrote the book on abusing DLC.
Yeah, you know, like having the DLC actually on the disc and having it ready to go, but you have to buy the key to unlock it. Like, wow,
I spent like $20 to buy the key to unlock it or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like if you put it's still, one of the most obnoxious ones was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Where there was like 180 to unlock all the DLC, you have to spend like $180. And it's like, wow. What the hell?
Now, as far as it goes with the Tales of series in America,
it has also been affected by this as well.
Oh yeah, it's been affected to a degree. I mean, sure, DLC, but that doesn't mean DLC has to be a bad thing. Now, the DLC for the Tales series, I don't think has been bad. Like, it's been your typical run-of-the-mill stuff. Like, you can buy level upgrades, stuff that you costumes, like stuff that you don't particularly need, but it's just there. Yeah. Like if you don't feel like level grinding in a Tales game, then you could buy the level up packs, which like if I believe correctly, like depending on your Tales game, like going back from Zestiria to now, if you bought all of the level up packs, you could like easily start the game at level 60. Like definitely strong enough to beat it.
Yeah. So that option is there.
Which if you're a speedrunner, then do it. Kill it! But yeah, now DLC. Now that DLC hasn't been particularly too expensive. I mean, yeah, it can be, but like it really depends. Like, it can go from $2.99, $5.99, typical stuff, like affordable, but you're not happy about it. But then they get overboard with Tales of Zestiria, which now apparently for certain things they're charging a little too much money. And one in particular is 1,300 yen, which I believe in American money translate to around $13.
Okay.
$13, that's a lot.
That is a lot. That reminds me of as much as a fan I am of the Arc System Works fighting games, Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of those games that came out, there was also a character where the character itself was only was like $7, and that is kind of pricey.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it makes you wonder. Were these characters on the plan to be in the game, but they just left them out just because they could charge you for them later?
Yeah.
But okay, so getting into why Tales of Zestiria is controversial. Now, first of all, according to Amazon, over in Japan, it's getting pretty low reviews, like 2 out of 5 stars.
That's not good.
Yeah, like for a Tales game, that's really not good.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, if over in Japan, if the Japanese don't like your Tales game, something's up.
That's not good.
Yeah, because over there in Japan, where the Tales series is possibly the most popular.
This is not supposed to happen. This is not a part of the script.
I know. It's debatable, but yeah, the Tales series is arguably the most popular franchise or popular RPG franchise over in Japan, if not behind, like some people say it's behind Final Fantasy and it's behind Dragon Quest, but at the same time I'm just like, well, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest don't have their own festivals and cafes and stores and like yearly festivals, so can you really say it's behind them?
Right.
So yeah, but case in point is that, yeah, for it to be as big as it is over there and it is doing poorly in their eyes, oh, that's not good.
Right.
Well, it's not going to do. America's not going to handle it well. But so yeah, here's basically why. Now, there have been talks about the camera angles are not very strong in terms of battle. Apparently, they're not bad, but they're not winning any favors or any awards. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's been one problem. But apparently, that has been not as big a problem as the problem as everybody has with a certain character named Alicia.
Okay.
Now, Alicia has been marketed the same way. Like, I guess the best example is, do you remember back when Metal Gear Solid 2 was coming out in 2002? All of the articles, all of the advertisements, every single marketing campaign that Metal Gear Solid 2 was having, it was all about Solid Snake. It was all about Solid Snake on the tanker missions. Solid Snake is back and he's better than ever. Now in the newer generation of HD consoles, we can do so much more with Metal Gear Solid 2 and Solid Snake. He'll be there all the way and you guys will be with him all the way. Oh yeah, but by the way, for 90% of the game, you're not going to be Solid Snake. You're going to be as this other guy, but we won't tell you that. We'll leave that as a surprise. It's basically the same thing where they're pulling the rug from underneath you. Now, yeah, because Alicia has been marketed for Tales of Zestiria to be the dominant female character in the Tales series. Now, if you're familiar at all with the series, there is a dominant male character and there is a dominant female character. And by dominant, I mean like the main roles. Like with Tales of Fantasia, you had Kless and Mint. Mm-hmm. With Tales of Destiny, you had Stana and Rudy. With Eternia, you had Reed and Farah. Tales of Destiny 2, Kyle and Riala. And so on, Senel, Shirley, Luke, Tyr, right. Like that's how it goes. Like every Tales game, it has its like Yuri, Estelle, they all have the main male and female role.
Right.
Now, it would be reasonable to assume that Alicia is the main female role, considering how much she's been advertised right next to Sori, the main male character. Now he apparently is the main male character. However, again, also in these articles and reviews and everybody talking, is like, Sori himself actually gets kind of pushed aside and plays more of a supporting role rather than being really in the
main.
Because apparently the stories kind of shift and focus on other characters that people are kind of confused about the writing. Yeah, and that was kind of the problem. Is like people were just they were really unclear. Like the writing just felt kind of bad and. Yeah. Now Alicia, it wasn't just with Alicia. For her to have been as marketed as big as she was, the reason why she is the biggest complaint is because you lose her about 10% into the game.
And she doesn't come back.
And you never get her back. Yeah, you have her for the first 10% of the game, allegedly, around there, and then she leaves the party, and then she never comes back. Now, if that were it, that'd be bad enough. But no, they actually stepped it up a notch. And this is what really kicked people in the ass and why people were pissed off. Is because apparently they treat this character like shit.
That's the part that really bothered me when I heard that.
Yeah, and it made a lot of Japanese players uncomfortable because, like, apparently, yeah, I'm not kidding. Those were the words I read, that it literally made them uncomfortable about what they were playing, how they were treating this character like shit. It was almost sexist the way they were treating this character. Like, the party members treated her like shit. Excuse my French, but yeah, like everybody else, the politics, like everybody around her kind of treated her like she was a nobody, like she didn't belong. And when she left the party, like nobody really cared. And then later on, they openly invite another female character to take her place, and they kind of welcome her with open arms. And even after, apparently, this new character fully admits to the fact that she's an assassin. And it just didn't sit well with anybody. And now there's another character named Dizelle, who apparently, spoiler alert, apparently this character named Dizelle gets killed off.
Oh, wow.
Now, I guess that's typical. Tails characters die now and then, but apparently they didn't like the way this character was killed off. They thought it was unreasonable. It didn't need to happen the way it was. Apparently the writing for how this character was killed off was just absolutely atrocious. Again, this is just basically what we're going on reading and what we're finding out, because we haven't had time to play the game ourselves. But, yeah, so apparently Namco has come out and said that for all of you Alicia fans out there, we are making this downloadable content episode specifically for Alicia. Now, again, adding on to further problems, before this episode is coming out, there has been full retail Alicia downloadable content, like costumes and stuff, specifically for that character. However, it's for the unknowing person, it's a very big waste of money, because if you didn't know that you're going to lose this character 10% in, you just lost like a huge chunk of change on a character that you can't do anything with. So it's like, why am I going to buy a costume for a character I'm going to see for 10% of the game?
That makes no sense.
It doesn't. And people were calling bullshit on Namco's excuses on why they were doing this. Because ultimately, regardless of all of this, the fans felt like they were cheated out of a complete game. Like this was the first Tales game that wasn't complete. I mean, technically Vesperia was the first one, but at least in our case. But yeah, it just felt like they were paying money for an incomplete Tales game that felt rushed, incomplete. Basically, it felt like the Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness of Tales games. And that's not cool. So yeah, we have a character.
Very concerning.
Yeah, and people are kind of concerned because this kind of gives feminists something to use. Apparently, when they see Alicia and they see her getting treated like crap and they see what she goes through, and ultimately what the party's gonna do to her, or just get rid of her and shrug her off, people are concerned that the feminists are gonna abuse the hell out of that and be like, "See, we told you. This is what you gamers and what the men thinks of us women, and we're just pushed to the side and thought of as like disposable, whatever."
This is very concerning, because this seems to be a trend now going with the Tales series. It seems like the series has started to take a dip in quality lately. And like I said, last year wasn't the best Tales year ever, but then to hear something like this, that's not good. You don't want those other business practices and the way other franchises have been really damaged due to greed start affecting our series. You know, that's
yeah,
not,
it's kind of like they've gotten cocky, like they know their Tales series is a gold mine, so let's try to abuse it.
Now let's try to abuse it. Right.
Yeah, and so, like, now, let's see if we can read some of this. Like, scroll down, because apparently the fans have gone to the producer of the series, which currently is Hideo Baba, and they've let's see, I can't really read much of it from here, so let's see. In case you haven't kept up, the gist of the story so far is that Alicia was introduced months ago as the heroine of Tales of Zestiria. Only early on in the game, she abruptly leaves your party and is replaced by another character. The other party members don't seem to miss Alicia either, and if you want to see her again, you need to purchase a separate DLC episode that features her in her own story. After the main event with Bandai Namco presented Tales of Zestiria, interviews waited for series producer Hideo Baba and wasted little time in asking him the question that Alicia fans have had on their minds all week. At the event, Baba was immediately met with the following question. Alicia, whom we all thought would be the heroine from the early stages, leaves the party right away. and you can no longer play as her anymore. How did that happen? According to the report, Baba smiled wryly and responded that this question has been being sent to him for the past few days. We announced the characters in order that they appear in the game. So we at Bandai Namco never decided on who the main heroine is and left it up for the fans to decide for themselves, he stated. Now, there was a comment that I read, and I fully agree, because I'm calling bullshit on that, because the main characters that you advertise are always supposed to be thought of as the dominant role. So why would you keep pushing this one particular character if we weren't supposed to think that it was the main one?
I don't know. I think maybe they were just trying to be too clever. Maybe they were just kind of outthought themselves.
It's really a tough situation.
Well, the thing about the Tales franchise, it's kind of based on the fact, or it's one of the things about the Tales franchise is that every Tales game, at least most of them, are very different from each other.
Yeah.
You know, they all have their own different.
They all have to follow. Yeah, they all have to follow under the same formula of gameplay and storytelling, but that you can change the story and you can tweak the gameplay. That's the key. Huh. Now, and yeah, so you were going from there, but that's basically the core of what makes the Tales game.
Huh. And maybe this was them again trying to be different, but like I said, even though I applaud them for trying to be different, there's been times where the things that they've tried have not worked out well.
Oh no!
So maybe they've tried them trying to throw another curveball at you, but it's I don't know if it's connecting the way they thought it would.
Yeah, because one thing about the recent Tales games is like what it shows is like Namco is very ambitious in trying new things, and yeah, sometimes they don't always work. And I think probably the first quintessential game that showed it didn't work was Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World, when they
Dawn of the Pokemon.
Well, I think with Dawn of the New World, I think they just put too many ideas in that game and none of them worked because they were all clashing with each other.
Right.
Like ultimately, I don't think Dawn of the New World is a terrible game, but I do think it is seriously flawed, and it reeks of a rewrite. Reeks of a rewrite.
Okay.
So yeah, like they're very ambitious in trying new things just to and it, like, especially if you hear about how this whole series started and you know that they essentially just kind of stole it from someone right from under his foot. So yeah, they're literally taking someone else's idea and running with it and trying to come up with new ways to create it. And for some games have like, and they've been doing a pretty good job for almost 20 years. Not a bad run. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's just like, we got to put into question whether you guys really know what you're doing anymore. Right. Because when, I don't know how they did it, but yeah, especially when like they made Fantasia, then they bailed on the other guy and he left to start his own company. Then they made the sequel. Well, they made Tales of Destiny, in which they were still staying in their comfort zone. I don't know how they did it, but one game after that, they perfected everything. I don't know how they did it.
We'll get to that later, but go ahead.
So yeah, Zestiria, it's not black and white as you'd think. Like there's a lot of gray areas because you don't know what the mindset was behind these people. You really don't know if they were trying to be clever or they were trying to be creative with an interesting storytelling, or were they intentionally trying to be controversial just to generate hype like this?
Well, there's an old saying, controversy creates cash.
Yeah, and you know, it has worked. I mean, look how many people are talking about it. Like controversy and this sort of thing, it creates hype and it creates demand. So people will be intrigued and want to check it out for themselves. Is the game bad? We don't know. I don't know. I haven't played it. I've barely seen it. The only thing I really know is that we got fusion characters going on,
which is weird in itself.
Yeah, that's weird. So
I don't know. Sometimes a Tales person feels that he was born in the wrong body. You know.
Yeah. So I wish I had more to say on the subject, but yeah, I do agree that I think that feminists can, of course, they find a way to use anything for ammunition. I mean, if they try to twist it, they can use anything. But yeah, as far as DLC goes, I'm with you guys on the DLC. I don't like paying DLC. If you know anything about me, I'm broke. Yeah. So if I have to pay money for DLC, it better be good.
The best damn DLC ever.
As I'm poor, like I forget the fact that we got PS4s and Xbox Ones here, but like we don't like paying DLC unnecessarily.
Right.
So, but yeah, the whole deal about Alicia being treated like crap, like that is like, if that's true, I'm gonna be very upset too because like really, because I play these Tales games for the story and the characters, and if the characters aren't fun to me, then nothing else is all that fun. But yeah, like that's gonna be really upsetting to me if I find out that this is true and they really do treat this character like complete garbage. It doesn't bother me so much that she's only in it for 10% of the game. I mean, like, story-wise, sure. But again, I didn't keep up with the marketing that much, so I didn't know much about Alicia anyway. But I can definitely sympathize for a lot of her fans as to why they would be pissed. I mean, yeah, I played Final Fantasy 13 too, and Lightning was barely in that one. So,
Yeah.
so I can definitely understand. But
at least in that game, you kind of knew going in. Because I remember reading reports that it was focused on her sister. But yeah, I can hear you.
So yeah, I do sympathize, and we are up to speed on it, and
we are concerned.
Yeah, we are concerned. All I can say, guys, is have your voices heard, have your opinions, be sure to share them. However, be respectful about it. Don't start jamming hatred like we're gonna kill you, Namco, or we're gonna kill you, Hideo Baba, for doing this to the series. You messed up. Like, don't be immature about it. Direct it. Approach it with a mature attitude. You can send them emails. You can voice your opinion, all without being jerks and assholes. That nothing gets accomplished that way. And I'm sure they're gonna listen. Like, Namco Bandai is not like a lot of companies out there that are literally just gonna shrug off your Capcom.
Yeah.
No, like for business, like they will listen. Like obviously they're listening enough as it is because they know that you don't like it. So. That's we're just gonna have to see where it goes from here. Will the DLC of her story make up for it? We don't know. We'll have to find out. And now, good news is they're apparently for a limited time giving it away for free, as per the 20th anniversary of the Tale series. Which hey, it's free for a while, so if you have the game, get it. I mean, they're not charging you for her story, so hey, just be glad they're not doing that. Because if they were charging you, they would have pulled a Capcom, and they knew from the get-go. So. At the same time, it's like, yeah, well, you can be upset that she might not have been playable throughout the story as much as you wanted. If you're getting an entire story about her for free, I wouldn't look that gift horse in the mouth.
Make the most of it.
Yeah, make the most of it. Like, it's free. I mean, granted for the time being, but why are you going to wait? Any final thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well, live long, prosper, and be sure to check out the Tales of Retrospective, which... Of course, you can go to our channel and see. And we will see you in the next episode.